But let's get to the show. Yo, welcome to It's Up There Podcast. I am your active and attractive and now favorite podcast producer, host in the culture, Big Loon. I want to say thank everybody for being here. You always show me support, man. There's nothing like y'all. Round of applause for my motherfucking supporters. Let's keep it all the way real with each other, man. We dealing with culture momentum right now, man. Thank y'all for being important to me and always on the side of trying to see me elevate in the game, because that's so important for everyone as we try to learn how to navigate through this space. Right now, man, I'm laying down the blueprint. I ain't waiting on nobody. You dealing with brick by brick. You dealing with someone that's saying, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get mine. And thank God that real niggas are in this industry and in this space where they say, you know what, I see another real operating with his own, out of his own, under his own. You understand, and respect that wholeheartedly from the center of their soul and give me access to the audience, as we know that's one of the most important things. So those of you that are here from here on out, I want to say welcome. This is how it works for It's Up There Podcast. I know some of y'all have listened to the experience with Lil Baby. That is my second show that I've created in this space, man, as we plan on running media. And everyone knows that Loon feels as though he's going to go get that 500 million. And I'll show you. I'll work everybody. But set that to the side. I know y'all really don't know me. You're here to see what else I bring to the game. It's Up There Podcast videos are exclusively on Pateron.com. What you would need to do is head to Pateron.com/its-up-there-podcast. You'll receive all videos there, the ones for the experience and the ones for It's Up There Podcast under the $25 tier. And also bonus content and merch and things like that. If you want to just go and get It's Up There Podcast, you go just subscribe there. You get the video the same day as the audio drop, and you get to see how It's Up There Podcast studio looks. We are upgrading everything as we speak, man. We're in a great position, so and we're grateful. So that's how it works. Also, you can find clips and videos on FOGFO YouTube. Things live there stagnant, right? So they come out later over there. We did drop the Lil Baby interview right on YouTube because the culture shock. And of course, Lil Baby being the biggest artist, one of in the culture, one of the top 3 artists, and that excludes no one in the culture. And we look at him in a certain way and respect his placement in the market, so we wanted to approach it that way. So, man, again, thanks so much. Let's get into the show. There's so much in the culture to speak about. I want to talk to y'all about the Lil Baby interview and mistakes that I make and just the idea of being an entrepreneur, right? But I want to start somewhere else. Matter of fact, I do want to start here. I want to help people understand the gravity of what you just experienced. Loon is an independent podcast. It's Up There Podcast is an independent podcast. The Experience is an independent podcast. I need you to understand that me having a Lil Baby interview is probably one of the biggest things that can happen in this space, period. Not only for someone in my position. See what I'm talking about? So the level of understanding you have to understand what just happened, I'm praying that you operating with that as you're listening to what it is that I'm saying. With that being said, I need people to know the magnitude. With that being said, I want people to know the sacrifice that was put in and always will be and is put in to what it is that I'm doing. A lot of people want what I got, but they don't want to do what I done. See, you can't get what I got and not do what I did. You can't look like I do and not be who I am. These things got to coexist. And so a lot of people want to cherry pick what they get. They want to look like Loon and talk like Loon, but they don't want to go through the pain I went through. They don't want to go through the disappointment I went through to have to shape my mind in a way to even work this kind of way, right? They don't want to have to grow up in a way where they can't trust nothing. They done seen betrayal firsthand and dealt with being set up by informants by themselves, trying to operate in a game they knew was dirty. They just convinced themselves that they can operate in it and remain clean. What I'm saying is it's pain before it's prosperity. It's sacrifice before it's success. It's failure before you get the formula. And I finally realized that I'm giving hope to niggas. I'm giving hope to black men. Me. Y'all other podcast dudes, they look at y'all and look like y'all ain't nothing like them. They look at y'all as podcasters. They look at Loon as one of them that done start podcasting or just a cold podcast. And so when they see me and I'm telling them, bro, you can do this. Say, bro, I come out the trap, check it. Go ass, check it. If anybody come out and say anything about me, I'm a verify that they a hater. You can't dispute what I'm saying. I've done these things outside the industry and inside the industry. So I act as a beacon of hope in telling us that if you hustle and really dedicate yourself, I podcasted for 2 years straight for free, competing with the big dogs, cutting through, engagement high, people fucking with it, cutting through. Doing it while they was doing it, doing while they wasn't doing it. I was up when they was asleep because I know the people that get great, that's when they get great while everybody else is asleep. See, while y'all was sleeping, I was somewhat getting great. I was somewhat putting the work in. I was somewhat dedicating to the process. I was somewhat putting the pieces together. While you was somewhat asleep, I was somewhat being great. Ain't nobody come into this world great. It's about the dedication factor. And with podcasting, with entrepreneuring, with business, there's going to be hurdles. There's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be shit that get lost in translation. But you got to trust the game and trust what you've studied. And that's the problem. You got to study what you're doing. Loon done studied this game. I know they think I'm just talking. But those that think I'm just talking, keep thinking I'm just talking while I go run and get this 500 million. See, what they don't understand is you must obey the truth. You don't got an option in the matter, nigga. And I'm the truth. And what I'm putting down is the truth. What I'm saying is teaching and uplifting and elevating, even though sometimes I deal with mess and I'm imperfect. Sometimes I go down the wrong road when I'm speaking about things and I get passionate enough to make a mistake. But that just shows you I'm human. I'm able to fall and get back up. A lot of you act well to do. Ain't nobody never saw you with a hair out of place. They know you faking it. The authenticity that come with it. And so I'd rather spend my time building my business, building my empire, building my infrastructure, building my mindset, building my finances, building my family, my children, building everything around me to operate at the highest level. And you know what's a fucked up thing is that it's easy to love me when I'm in this position, so it's hard for me to accept the love because I know it's easy for you to give it. See, the people I gave my love to, they handled it in a way that was irresponsible. So now I do something with my love. I tuck it in my back pocket. I focus on building. Because I know if I can build an infrastructure, if I can focus on climbing the mountain that I'm trying to get up. And oftentimes while I'm climbing, if I'm in love and you ain't elevating, you want to cause confusion. See, because I'm elevating, now you concerned with the criteria. You ignore the conditions prior to that. But I got to focus on climbing and not consider what you consider right now at this moment because your feelings are fickle. But what ain't fickle is what I've built, that legacy I left. So I'll focus on climbing. See, I know it's better to climb a tree and fall and break your back than it is to fall in love and break your heart. So I'd rather focus on that. And even if it fail, I'd rather focus on that. A lot of y'all rather focus on that love aspect in which you being let down, and even the upside, you got to try to sustain. So the dedication you got to have to sustain the level of love that you're interested in is going to take from everything that you could be building and climbing and carrying on your way up. But love is a beautiful place, but it's just a weird place. I'm uninterested in it at this time because don't nobody understand what it take to be me. People that knew me no longer know me because they know the old me. See, people that used to be with me no longer be with me, so they can't no longer tell you what I'm doing. They can tell you what I did. But people take what I did and think that's what I'm doing, and that's where they make a mistake. I elevate every day. I read all day. I listen to things that try to take my mind to a different place every day. I don't play the same game as guys. I don't do the same thing as guys. I place myself in only situations to elevate my thinking. But I'm building myself in this podcast space. And for everybody that's new here, man, this show is just about music, society, culture, life. It's everything wrapped into this show, man. We just talk about culture, and we do it in a way that's cutting through. Nobody's doing it like this. At least that's what people say. So hopefully you agree. Hopefully you're here and saying, yo, I'm glad I found this. This dude is one of them guys. And we're going to continue to tap in and support him, you know. And again, I just want to take some time to say thank everybody that's listening, because I'm lucky, you know. No, I have a extreme amount of hustle, bro. But when I first started podcasting, I said, yo, you going to figure it out. You come from it, dog. You going to figure this out. Right? Number one, I'm a problem solver at heart. Like, you know, I'm one of them guys that fix the things that's going on in my family, for my family. If I have an issue, I handle it on my own. You know what I'm saying? I was outside getting money by myself. You know, of course, I have a crew plugged in with a lot of individuals, but I speak on behalf of me, and I don't take orders, right? So I've always been one of those guys who played dumb and act like I really wasn't understanding, because I knew that everyone that played boss in the street went to jail. But there was a certain amount of people that knew, damn, I got straight personally through home. You feel what I'm saying? So the game is so backwards that I played it in a way that seemed to be, for me, the right way to play it. You know, now moving into this industry, dealing with these numbers and these conversations and just being involved at a very high level in regards to business, you must understand that you're no longer playing a little game. And to catch a big fish, it's going to take big bait. So it's big trickery going on. It's a lot happening for a like me with 2 popping shows that's in the middle of this. It's just kind of ain't get that own it and just kind of moving through this industry. It's a hell of a thing. You know, what I need is partners. And the partner thing is a very slippery word, because they have, in podcasting, what they've did is they've made these contracts where they do ad share, and they frame that as a partnership. And it is a partnership in regards to when the money comes in, it's split, but they're not supporting it creatively. They don't support it in those other ways. And I think half of that is because they don't own it, right? So for me, you know, I don't know how to feel about that. You know, I think the partner word needs a new definition for what's happening in this space. Going to do the Lil Baby interview, right? So, of course, me and P been kicking it, talking. You know, it ain't my first time around Baby. We've been around each other a couple of times. So, you know, I know the interview's coming. I've been knowing it's coming. I just been chilling, not saying nothing. So, you know, the day comes for the interview. I'm like 3 days out. So I tell myself, like, I'm going to go ahead and fly down to the A, get down there and stay down there a couple of days and get ready, you know, to do the motherfucking interview. You know, relax and be well rested. I ain't gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be down there 2-3 days ahead of time. So I went on down there, and I fuck around on the day of. You know, me and Pete talking, and he telling me where they at, what they doing and shit. And I fuck around, hit him up the day, the label the day of, hit me up and send me the address, and it's in a whole nother state. This is in real time. I want y'all to know this is what being an entrepreneur is about. We talking about I got 7 bags of equipment, and it's me by myself, right? Just stay with me now. I'm telling y'all the level of shit you got to go through when you chasing this on your own, when it ain't handed to you. And this is what keeping that, and nobody don't tell you this. This is what keeping that ownership do to you. When you keep ownership, everything is on you. You got to prepare everything for yourself. Got to be clear with that. I got 7 bags. I'm in Atlanta in a big Airbnb. I get the call. It's like 10:38. They tell me the address. I'm like, I'm in a whole nother state. You know, my head dropped. I see, dang, it's over. I ain't gonna get the interview right now. You know, then they look at the schedule. They don't got no open dates for me, nothing for the next couple of weeks or no time. He's so booked up, ain't nothing really going on. So I'm like, damn, bro, like, drop my head. You know, and I go to my people. My people lift me back up. Like, nah, man, you got to go on leave now. So I look on the thing. I'm like, I got to, you know, a little time. I catch a flight. I jump on the flight, 4-5 hour flight with 7 bags. Whole time I have to pay people. I have to leave the car and valet at airport. Like, all this is happening in one day. So picture, it's 10:38. I get the call. We'll see you later on at this address. This address is 4-5 hours away from where I am. So I got to jump in the plane. I got to leave right then with 7 bags. I got C-stands and cameras, 4 and 5 cameras and lights. And tube lights and just switches and sliders and all kind of shit, clothes and everything. So I head to the airport. It cost me $1,000 both ways just for equipment. So it was $2,000 in equipment plus the ticket plus the spot where I had to go. But I made it. But picture before I made it, I'm gonna rewind it. This is a hell of a story. I land in the state that we was in. I'm on the phone. I'm like, man, I'm just getting to the hotel. I finally got here. I got like 40 minutes before I got to get over. I'm finna sit down for a minute. I'm right down the street around the corner. I'm finna sit down for a minute. I get there with all this equipment. I look, my clothes ain't there. I got 40 minutes before the interview start. I was finna go in there, take a shower, sit down for a minute, change clothes. My clothes ain't even there. So when my clothes ain't there, I'm like, damn, I got to jump back in the rental. I'm thinking, then did I leave them in Atlanta? Because I'm rushing. I shoot back to the airport, running through the airport, taking mine in this suitcase. Probably got $25,000 in clothes and jewelry. I run. Hey, I left they said, go down there. It should be down there with the people. I get down there. They got my suitcase. Now I get my suitcase, run to the car. Now I got 14 minutes before I need to be there. I get there right in time. See, the universe gonna test you. How much you want this? I'm sweating and everything, carrying all my shit, taking care of my business. People don't see that part. That people don't appreciate that side of the entrepreneurs thing. People just wanna get the side of it where you just get the glitz and glamour. And let me tell my fans this, or supporters or people looking. I don't accept certain kind of comments. This is my platform, right? And I ain't gonna respond to you. My people, they ain't gonna even tell me what's going on. They just gonna block you. But I get out there and kick it with Baby, man. We do the interview, and I'm sure somebody, I'm gonna wait to kind of tell the full story on one of these bigger platforms when I go sit down. I got a lot of big interviews lined up where people are bringing me on their platform to speak. And so I'm sure they'll ask me, or we'll get into that whole thing of how that happened. And, I was documenting and I was exhausted. My body was tired, but I had to get the job done. That was probably the most important thing I've done up to date in this industry. You know what I'm saying? And one of the most important things people could do if you're a podcaster. Even if you're established podcast, that's a very big interview from Lil Baby. And these dudes can downplay it if they want. I don't downplay our people. I don't downplay any of our people that's in the industry and what they mean to us and their influence and how influential they are in the market and their market share. I don't try to downplay that because I think I'm cool. Whatever folk think of me, I am what I am regardless of the stamp they put on me. So it ain't gonna matter. You can't put no 10 on it. You see what I'm saying? The thing about it is, if a nigga doing this shit, I'm going to say he doing this shit. That's just that on that. It's a period behind that. And real one salute that. Let me speak about this a little bit, man. Russ. And we'll get to Kanye really quick with the White Lives Matter and everything that he's been doing. For me, it's unfortunate to see Kanye operate in this way, right? When I first started looking at Ye, I say to myself, man, these dudes is flip-flopping. They on both sides. That shit ain't straight, man. How you gonna be on both sides of this like it? Like, it ain't really, you know what I mean? One day you critical of Kanye, the other day you praising him. And I think he's one of the only people, he's a very specific human being. He's one of the only people that can appeal to both sides of your thought process. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you'll take one of the things that he do and it'll appeal to the side of your thoughts to say, that dude has some great ideas, and then he'll do something else that can appeal to. Sometimes people flip-flop in that space and code switch like that just because they don't like a person. But I think genuinely how he's behaving is appealing to both sides. Like, you make some dope shoes, but man, you say some bullshit. I think because I have a platform, I don't have a choice. And the reason I hate to address him is because I'm not sure I fully understand what's happening. And I hate to jump the gun on things. But I think it is important that we use our voice to talk back, right? I don't think it's fair for any one person to be speaking to our people. And I think if anybody thinks that that's the situation we ought to be in, we need to ignore them wholeheartedly. Should never be just one individual speaking to the culture and everyone just goes with that, and anyone that has anything to say outside of what he's saying is in violation of any relationships and things like that. I think that's an unfortunate place for them to put black men in that's trying to feed their families. And for me, I'll hustle around the world if they play with this shit. So with that being said, I have to address Ye. Because when I think about it, and I'll get into detail and we'll pull up a couple of things that he said, but when you think about it, the behavior is starting to become not only predictable and preventable, but paralyzing to our people. But anything you do that's parallel to being prejudiced to your own people, I got to speak on in a way that's productive for all of us. So I'll get to him a little later. First, let me speak about Russ. Russ was speaking about being blackballed on, and this comes on the heel of the Baby selling 17K while Tory Lanez is rising up and doing about 40 and getting #1 on Apple Music and moving through the charts. So again, this is a weird place we're in regards to the judging of these things. These rules are constantly changing. But on the heels of that, and the Baby saying he was blackballed, not bad for blackball Baby to do 17,000, and this is the Baby we're speaking about. You know, Russ basically came out and said, yo, the blackballing thing is a fluke. Let's listen to a little bit of what he said.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you're an idiot. Yeah. Shout out to the fans. Shout out to Caitlyn. Shout out to TikTok. This is insane. Independently. Wild.
So if you're looking at the screen, I just want to give my 2 cents on something in the industry. No artist is blackballed unless you cut your Wi-Fi off, remove your social media accounts, take your music off all streaming platforms. You are not blackballed. If you're famous, you still can tell your fans, hey, I'm putting out music. Then you're not blackballed. Fans will listen to your music or they won't. It's that simple. Also, if you're a famous artist and you need playlists in order for people to listen to your music, how real are your fans? Why don't they support you regardless? We're giving too much credit and power to DSPs and not enough power to us, the artists and the fans. I know for me, as long as I can tell my fans I'm putting out music, I'm straight. I'm not entitled to any playlist, nor do I need them for my fans to listen to my music. That's why they're my fans. Laughing emoji. Then he put, I just found out I am not on Rap Caviar or today's top hit, so I retract that. I am blackballed. Every established artist, I just got the update. If we are not on Rap Caviar, today's top hits, we are being blackballed. Every song we drop needs to be on those playlists or else we're blackballed. Of course, he's being condescending at this point. So we're going to look at a little bit of this, him talking to the fans about his opinion about being blackballed. Let's take a look.
Blackballed from Hollywood. That means you're in no more movies because no one's giving you a job. No one's hiring you. You can't be blackballed as a recording musician, as a recording artist. If your music, your work, your product is still out everywhere. It's still available everywhere. I am curious, like, no, I won't say it. It's just going to come off rude. Here's the thing. It's not your God-given right to use another company's platform to attract new fans. I don't know what's so hard about that to grasp for y'all. If Walmart decides to sell my music, that's awesome. If they decide to put me on their top album shelf, that's also awesome. If they then take me off the top album shelf, sucks for me. But it's not my God-given right to be on top albums this or that. It's just not. It's just not. I don't know what is so complicated about that for y'all. The entitlement is insane. It's insane to me. Why do fans, I'm not talking about my fans, why do certain fans, certain people in the public think that these promo positions are right as an artist? I don't bank on none of that. I can't, because I can't control it. I gotta just hope that, you know what, man, like, I love the song I put out. It feeds my soul. And if it feeds my fan soul, they're gonna tell enough other friends about it and it'll spread because I have a fan base. That's what I bet on. But this notion that like something that isn't ours to begin with is owed to us is just fucking nuts. It's crazy to me. Just stop the bullshit. Stop the entitlement. Stop the bull.
All right, let's talk about that playlist point for a minute and try to put a fence around some of this he's speaking about. While I appreciate the independent mindset and approach from someone like Russ, number one, he has to understand he built that in a certain way. He built that in a very specific way, much different than a lot of these artists currently in the game. Number two, let's use the baby. You know, and I'm not saying this to say he's blackballed, but I want to provide some context to the other side of this scenario that Russ is speaking on. Let's speak about like somebody like the baby. If he has a partnership or a JV or some kind of recording situation in which Interscope has financial interest in that project and also some equity or ownership in a portion of the rights of that project, what happens is these major labels have deals with these streaming services. And so now the question becomes, see, it's bigger than just, yo, I can tell my fans something is out and it's out and that's just how it is. And Russ knows better than that. Because on one end, you can't argue that, and on the other end, say you spent $1 million to market your song. You respect the business that is music, and that's the music business that's on streaming platforms now for some of those bigger artists. So a lot of times they have a contract in which the artist is signed to a label who is signed with the streaming site. Now, the streaming site should have interest to put that if it's a new release, if it has some kind of song that has traction on those playlists, because even me, I found myself, someone that's savvy with computers and understand internet, I found myself oftentimes in a position to have to lean on a playlist or some sort of curated thing from these sites. And everyone is starting to find themselves slowly but surely in that situation because they're getting better in not only hiding music, but presenting the landing pages in a way where it's even harder to get to your favorite artist or even figure out how to, dude, this is deeper than just tell your fans. Okay, tell them fans is music out. They go to the site and can't find it. That's a thing as well. And if you think it's not, then you haven't done your research and you just sitting on your high horse speaking from privilege. And I think the other side of the argument needs to be spoken about. And with the top, see, again, this isn't just about straight to consume. And I think people like to say that because Dame Dash used to say that back in the day, and Tyler Perry said, a couple of these big tycoon people have said it in a way that, and that's old game. They found a way to make it where there's a middleman in most instances. You think you're going straight to consumer through YouTube and you're not. You think you're going straight to consumer because you upload it on Spotify and you're not. Because at some point, if they want to, they can tweak it. They can do certain things to it. If you know that, you do. If you don't, you don't. So they mask this straight to consumer talk and they speak over the casual consumer's head. It is not by coincidence that 60 or 70% of plays come through playlists. That's not coincidence. That's by design. That's a designed result that you're dealing with. And because the people over you have already made the deal, it means you got to go through there because that's the centralized audience that they have placed on us. As much as we think you can just upload it, yeah, go ahead and upload it. There's 8 million shits getting uploaded a day that's getting lost in that. That's what make it even more powerful to need a relationship because they open it up to the public. If it was just the labels that had some kind of control, they can put who they have interest on their pages and certain things. But no, they open it up to the public and masked it as a creator thing, which it does help creators. See, it's a double-edged sword because it helps creators upload, get money, get rich out the game. But on the other side, it makes it where now you better create a relationship not to get lost in that sea of bull. And the playlist is their attempt at showing what is a reasonable list of songs based on whatever metric that they have behind the scenes. And so the question now becomes its centralized audience. We seen Kanye try to go around it. that didn't have much impact. He probably made money, but they attracted the impact in this game. That's another trick they play on you. They make a deal with the streaming service, and then they fence everything around first week sales to make you pay attention to the first week sales, because they know for you to only get a first week sales like that, you got to come through us through the playlist game. You can't get a good first week sale like that, like 100,000 or something, without the playlist game. So that don't necessarily mean your album ain't good or it ain't gonna end up going platinum, or you might not have one platinum song on there, 2, maybe 3 gold. That don't mean that. It just means that you didn't get the playlisting push that you should have got. And I think people have to understand what that means. Now, here's the trick. If we start to zoom out from that first week and say we not even playing that game. Hey, yo, rap niggas, get with me. Let's start a company. Let's start a platform and start making it where we just count 6 months out numbers. That's what we doing now over here. And we pushing it like they doing first week. We sending this plaques. Everybody reposting it for 6 months. We creating this culture. That's what I'm telling you got to do. But you need the infrastructure, so you got to damn near come through long. And so the conjunction of first week sales and playlisting is the trick bag that they put everybody in. See, they had got around them a little bit with the merch thing. They got that out of there. See, the merch thing was allowing them to get even away from the music thing. That was taking the streaming platforms out of it. The merch thing, because you would buy a t-shirt and get a direct download to where a song is. Y'all got to keep up with why they got rid of that. It ain't because that's cheating. It's because that was giving folk access to their audience in a way where they would spend more money on the marketing on that side. Because not only do they get the sales, they also, with the ticket, they get an email, they get a this, they get a that, they get some information with it. So ostracize that and make their information only come through us. And hey, if you don't get the playlisting, you're going to be under 100. So you better get with us to get your playlisting thing together. And so when Russ says that you can just tell your audience that something is out, he's correct. But that will be ignoring the complex approach and research that these companies like Apple do. They got people and teams dedicated to research and development for these kind of things. How do we make them damn near go to a playlist before their favorite artist? 9 times out of 10, you don't even come to those things to listen to one song. You even got to understand that. They know that. First, they changed it to a single game and then change it to where they control playlisting, because they know you're not going to go for one song. You're not really going to probably put it on repeat. But if you got a bunch of cool little jams or a bunch of, some people just letting it play. They only like 3 songs in a row. Then that 4th one, they kind of like that one. They don't like 4, 5 more songs, but they kind of like that one. But guess what? Whole time, all them streams are counting while they at work, and it's just in their ear. While they hammering nails in, it's just in their ear, right? Nobody's going there listening to one song all day. One song, one song, one song. That ain't what's happening. So Russ and other people got to even understand that the thinking behind how these things are designed are much. They take in consideration that the artist has the ability to do what he says. If you think they don't put any boundaries or red tape in between the artist being able to directly just tweet something like that and see that effect, dog, there's business in between that. Why would they just let that happen? There's, you know how many millions of dollars that translation like can cost a label or a rapper or a business or product or a podcast. That's business in between that. That's why those barriers are in place. That's why those slots sometimes come up for sale, and that's bigger than just rap. So I disagree with what Russ is saying on that particular point. Because again, I also cite that you spent $1 million on your song with someone as big as Ed Sheeran. So you do pretty good and sell out LA Staples Center. And Ed Sheeran is Ed Sheeran. He's probably the biggest thing on that side of the street. So if that's the case, all you 2 dudes had to do was tweet that out. And job well done. But no, you spent $1 million in marketing because you have to work around all that algorithm and playlist bullshit or pay to be placed on those playlists. So again, pay attention to people and what they do, not what they say. It's very important in this game to know business is different than banter. There'll be a lot of talking. There'll be a lot of speaking about what's happening, but pay attention to the business deals these dudes are doing. And then that's where you see the real information and real results. Let me speak about this before we go any further. I don't think, when I look at us as a culture, right, because I know a lot of people want to flirt with the idea that there is not a culture, and that's definitely a false advertisement. There's a lot of dangerous things happening. I'll get to this before I get to my next point. We're in a very unique time, right? Me and Charleston White started to point out things about rap culture that were uncomfortable. My opinion was always that I needed to leave some instructions for my children, right? Because they look up to these people and they need some sort of dialogue to go, some kind of dialogue and direction to go with some of these moves that you see being made by these artists, right? And I always felt like they can be confused by smoke and mirrors. And so my approach was always to kind of digest the information and interpret it and put it back out. Charleston White on the other side would take a more direct approach. And his thing was using some of these names and some of these individuals and kind of tearing them down. And in conjunction, the voice got louder of this whole, like, hold on, man, let's take a real close look at rap culture and let's figure out how to tweak some of these things. Now, this is what I didn't take into account. And I can't speak for Charleston White, but I didn't take into account that there's a very specific person that has to do this, right? Charleston is doing what he's doing, you know, whatever approach he has, I'm sure he has a plan over there. Loon has a very direct plan, but now we have everybody kind of jumping in and slamming the rapper, and I think that's dangerous. When we speak about the rapper and the rap culture and business, the music business, we have to understand that that's one of the few avenues that black young boys have to come down, and not saying we can't do anything else, but this is an established avenue that's already in place that I think if we can tweak the behavior of some of the things, or even just let it stay in its current form, but just make voices louder that kind of explain what we're seeing. But I'm not in conjunction with none of these dudes with tatted rappers down. Like, I ain't on that. I ain't on the tatted rapper down thing, because I still, again, see that as a place for us to elevate, speak to our people, build a brand, build a legacy on the backs of hip hop and rap, right? So I can't say tear that down. And I can't say that particular individual turn the lights off on them, because they are a reflection of the circumstances that I escaped from. And so for me to alienate from that would also be me doing a disservice to everything that I know is happening on the other side of this coin that I'm on. And so every time rappers come out and say something now, we're starting to see a louder voice of people pushing back. Like, well, y'all say this in your music and y'all do this in the right? And part of it is Charleston White going viral. The other part is me going viral and people starting to gravitate to that, to our voices. But they don't understand it's much more game on this side than just that, right? And I speak very specific about the rap shit, right? I speak about, like, in the hood. I'll tell you that rappers, I'm the one. Here it is. Like, for instance, if you go back, I'm the one that started the conversation about how rappers kind of breed envy in their neighborhoods by coming through and shining in a way, like kind of stunting. They con men, they professional liars, right? So they get to come and look a certain way, and then now people are expecting a certain things, and then you started to hear that conversation go through the culture and be regurgitated, which is cool. But there's a very specific way we have these conversations, because we want to extract the information and the opportunity from some of these guys and understand how they got where they were, and also tell them that there's an opportunity to elevate what we come from. Because what is and I'm gonna speak like the internet people, you know, like the baddest, what it be given is that these guys be want to really get the street guys out the way. And see, me, I can operate on both sides, so they can't with me. I can come over there in they field and over them. So I'm never really worried about And I mean far as creatively, right? So I'm never really kind of worried about the whole they'll X you out. You know, once I get an audience, there's no Xing me out. But the rappers, it always seemed like that there's a common list of people who go against the rappers every chance they get. And I just think we got to be careful. I don't think it's a circumstance that needs to be spoke on by everybody, but I do know when you unleash something to the internet, it's no longer just your property. So, you know, you got to live with that. But like, we got to figure out how to have the right voices kind of speaking about how rappers are leading the children in a real way, right? And not just be mad because street was hard on you in high school, or because the street took your girl from you back in the day, and boy, you tearing the rappers down. See, I identify with them guys. I was the cool guy. I always had pretty girls and things like that and money, and I come up in, so I kind of relate to those guys. I ain't trying to smush the rap because we talking on this side and we are able to do this every day while they are doing shows and things, and so we can kind of flood the airwaves. Nah, you know, I'm trying to understand what they are going through and let them identify what opportunity they have. And that's the difference. You know, a lot of people are just, you know, y'all are talking about killing. Y'all are talking about selling drugs and having 3 and 4 women and this and that. And a lot of people is using that against rappers and then asking them to come and sit down and speak to them, or asking them to perform at their functions, or asking them to, right? It's a weird feeling in our industry, and I partly feel kind of responsible. So now I have to be very responsible with how I maneuver around those topics, because I see people are taking it, and I don't know if they're tying it to the success that they're seeing we're having, or if they just like it so much they can identify with. Like, I don't know, bro, if it's an excuse for some of them because, again, street dudes was kind of hard on them. I'm not sure, but you know, I'm gonna be louder about how we fix this problem in a very particular way. Like, I'm not just gonna be sitting there on some bash the rappers talk. That ain't my thing. Because at the end of the day, we really gotta respect that the rapper was forced there. We were forced in those circumstances, right? So a lot of people documenting the circumstances, man. So I can't really just shit on them, but I gotta let them know that there's opportunity attached to the position that they're in, and help them identify that and hopefully pivot in a way where they can profit as well as preach, you know, to the people. And that's what I'm on. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying that all we can do is be rappers, because I know successful niggas at everything. I'm talking about, I know niggas that got barber shops, niggas got tire shops. I know successful niggas that steal, sell dope, sell t-shirts, rap, do movie. Like, I know successful black men in all kind of facets. So I reject any notion to limit us and place us inside a box. I understand that every position that we've been put in, history tells us that we've been able to excel. We've been able to thrive with lesser than the people ahead of us, and somehow, if not catch up, get close enough to be in the atmosphere. And that's uncomfortable because the starting points were so different. So black men are powerful in every sense of the word, right? The creativity that we had to see, again, you evolve in a very specific way, even like the human. There's studies that show when the human brain doubled, and it was because of an activity that made the human brain double. So the way that we had to maneuver with less in the neighborhood caused us to evolve in a way where problem solving, at least me, I have a high level of problem solving. Hurry up and get it took care of. That's what, like, so just imagine, if I got beef or issue with you, you have to know I'm not somewhere sitting down and relaxing. Like, nah, that's on my mind, right? If I got a deal on the table, that's on my mind. Like, shit be on my mind because I'm a high level problem solver, because I come from so many problems pop up that if you don't solve them, you look up and you put out. You look up and they repo your car. See, because shit popping up, the light bill due, the car note due, the rent due, and next thing you know, you trying to pop them back down. Next thing you know, the car gone. They done repoed it. So me, I'm one of them ones that got to hurry up, fix a problem, problem solve, problem solve, problem solve, problem solve. Then when it ain't no problem, here I am looking for problems. That's why I say they want me. They want to be me. They want to copy me because they want the success or the looks I'm getting, or they want to, the podcast that people enjoy and things like that. But they don't know you can't turn this stuff off. They don't know I developed in a certain kind of way. That's why this happens. This isn't something that's by chance or by coincidence or some dude that got lucky. This is a guy that is resilient. This is someone that's not taking no for an answer in regards to what I see as my end result. Now, how I get there is up to debate. So I'm never placed in a situation where I'm telling someone you got to do business with me, you got to work with me. But I'm knowing that where I'm headed, I have to work with somebody coming through here. And somebody going to understand and see what I'm doing. They going to latch on and they going to make a lot of money. And say one of the best things they ever done in their life was invest in that and link with Loon in that way because he had a clear vision. Where else you going to get it at? On this side of it. When you talk to a like me in this day and time, usually you talking to him because he already rich and famous and you done paid some kind of price, sacrifice something to be in that area. They're catching me on this side of the envelope. We just now sealed the envelope. We just now finna take it to the mailbox and send it where it's going. Niggas is catching me at the post office, and a lot of times they'll wait till you've been delivered and try to open the package and wonder why they opening an invoice. If you wait till I'm delivered, you're going to receive an invoice. But had they caught me on the way up, had they caught me at the post office, we would have been in a different situation. Had they caught me on the front end of it and believed in it. And that's why I f with niggas like P. P reached out to me. Hey, man, I f with, man, look, man, this is real, man. I f with you. Meek Mill reached out to me. Yo, I f with that shit. Like, this shit is... Everybody in the game is like receptive to me, man. They appreciate what I'm bringing. Plus, they know I'm hustling. I couldn't be more lucky to be in the position I'm in. And it just continues to let me know that everybody in the industry ain't fake. The way you would think on the outside, like, is all these niggas in there on some other shit? Nah, it's still some niggas in there. If you got the right shit and they kind of think you one of them, they gonna do what they need to do to try to make sure you in a okay position. But these podcasts are lazy. As I go through podcasts and I'm looking around, all these dudes lazy. In regards to podcasting, I ain't talking about the other shit people do. Maybe they working hard everywhere else. But I saw, dude, so I'm looking at 500 million in this space right here. I'm not moving. Y'all get out my way. If all y'all playing and doing, I'll get the fuck out the way. Loon looking for 500 million. He not playing. I got shows at the end of November. You see what I'm saying? So these things happen for me, and I'm just somebody that's out here making it happen. And I know what's going to happen, right? In a minute, they're going to be saying that Loon was an industry plant. There's no way it happened that way. I'm sure everybody's going to say that is complete bullshit. But I feel that coming because this is kind of unexplainable. How this independent podcast is in a situation where, he has a high level of interest from Revolt. I've been contacted by Amazon. I've been spoke to by numerous sponsors, and I'm naming companies because this is where you get your money and your infrastructure, right? And this is just, I can't even really remember everybody that's been reaching out to me, but it's been a heavy list of heavy hitters, right? And so me being on this side, just creating a show, creating another show, doing what I'm trying to do, it's like, I don't think this has ever happened before. Ever. Not even only for my city, Cashville, but period. There's nobody that dance in sports, business, culture, all these different things like this. And if they say they do, show them to me. Sit them up. Let us have a conversation. I would love to respect their opinion. I would love to and don't bring me these little podcasters, right? Because I know what's happening. I had a comment on my thing where somebody told me I should be on your show. I blocked him. You ain't got no business telling me you should be on. I don't even know you. You know how many millions of dollars is on the line for this show and these shows I'm doing, and you just telling me I need to put you on my, you know how much blood, sweat, and tears that it took me to even get to whatever level I was on when you heard about me, and a nigga telling me the only thing is I need to be on your show. I blocked the little dude. He ain't really say nothing disrespectful, but I had to block him because it was I'm just like, I'm not interested in these conversations. They disrespect what I've been through, dog. The sweat equity that's been put in to even developing a style that like this. The sweat equity to be able to sit in a studio by yourself with all these cameras and these people with these lights and all this shit happening with no co-host and articulate these points and have this monologue and dialogue with the culture in this kind of way is very unique. There's not a screen behind me. There's nothing. All you got is me. That's all you can pay attention to is me. And so I gotta deliver something in every sense of the word. But the sweat equity to even develop that kind of style, what it took for me to understand lightning. Nobody could tell me that. I'm from, you think if I DM one of them dudes with a street account, they gonna respond? Like, yo, I'm trying to get into podcasting. My first episodes were terrible. The first time I hooked it up, the camera was moving in and out. I had auto zoom on, so it'll zoom in and zoom out just randomly through the episode. I'm just speaking to y'all about the fight. The fight. I knew nobody in the industry. No one. In regards to media, nobody. On the start, everything you see, I've did by myself. The Lil Baby interview, P reached out to me. He loved my shit. He put that together. I'm forever in debt with P and Baby for that. But this is gonna be a fun journey. You know, I'm gonna keep this up there podcast. Just, you know, my experiences, my outlook. You know, the experience will be my podcast or show. With some of the biggest names in the culture, right? We still have guests over here as well from here and there, but most of the time we're gonna be over here speaking about the culture, society, and things like that, man, and building that brand. And so, man, I really appreciate the position y'all have put me in, y'all have placed me in. Again, thanks to Lil Baby, we had a great conversation. I'm sure it's gonna give me a look that's crazy. And we're going to do a watch party on YouTube. We're going to do a watch party for his album release. We're going to try to support the album, you know, in that way, and tap into our audience and hopefully make sure that it make sure that our presence is felt in regards to support. And I'm sure he'll okay. You know, he's one of the biggest artists in the game and one of the realest I've ever ran into, you know, in regards to this industry or period, you know. But life is good, man, and It's Up There podcast is growing. The experience had a great pilot first episode, so we're looking good, man. Thank y'all for supporting me. Pateron is where you get the vibes. Let me give y'all a few seconds about this point as well. I hear Herbo. Shout out to Herb. He just dropped his album, Survivor's Remorse. Y'all go get that. I hear him saying that he don't believe in blackball either because look at NBA Youngboy. Let me tell you that they ain't NBA Youngboy respectfully. You know, NBA Youngboy has a very different type of fan base, and he has activated those people for a long time, serving them in a very specific way. So he has literally formed and created that audience in that way. This is a very different thing. A lot of you people are serving the casual listener. You're looking to tap into the casual listener because your presence with your fans is there, but maybe they don't know how to search it. Maybe they don't know how to find it. Maybe they're not on Instagram as much as you think because you're getting those likes, and you may be unaware about whose finger is really on the pulse and aware of your album in the way that you think. Just because you're reaching people on social media, you may not be reaching all of your people. There's a group of people that you reach even outside of social media. There's a group of people you reach on Facebook that you don't reach on Instagram. You reach on TikTok that you don't reach on Facebook. There's people you reach on Twitter that you don't reach on either one of those, and so on and so forth. People you reach on Google, people you reach on, right? And so this blanket statement of as long as you got the internet, you're gonna be okay, I think it's ill-advised, because these companies have put a very specific plan in place to create business alongside the discovery process of music. And so if we ignore that, then what are we really speaking about? If that's the case, we wouldn't need marketing teams. If that's the case, you wouldn't be paying thousands of dollars to your marketing people. People at the top, be clear that they're trying to trick you guys out of using the very developed team that you have in place. I say still use your team. You know the music business is a very old concept, and there's a structure in place. Right now, I also say let's get away from the first week number thing, because if they have you chasing that, they force you to play their game. That's where I think the information lies at. Not is blackballed real, because blackballed is real. Like, y'all, we have to stop saying that. Blackballed is 100% real. The question lies in the discovery process. The information lies in even reach on social media, because you can post and not reach all your fans even on that. Like, I don't understand, bro. NBA YoungBoy is not blackballed and can't be blackballed because he's taught his fans how to fish. It's a very different thing happening. See, y'all taught y'all fans how to just follow you on the gram and just do. He's taught his fans how to, hey, come here to get the stuff every week. I'm always giving you something, so always be checking for me here. Now it seems like he's trying to move them over to some of these platforms as well, but he was very particular in YouTube. I'm building this in a way, come here to check for me, check for me, check for me. So he's taught his fans how to fish for him, because the sea of music has become way too big for us to act like you don't need very specific people to narrow that search down and place you in front of people who usually will listen to something of yours. Because listen, you got, bro, this gets complex, man. You dealing with fans, right? So you say your fans, yeah, you can touch. Your pure fans will be there. But you got some of your hit songs that translated to people who don't listen to your albums, who may like another song on this album. How do you let them know that, hey, I know you like this song from that artist, here's another one like that? How do you let them know that? You got the time to do that on Instagram every day? Hey, for everybody that listened to me when I first came out and had that song called Love Me, for everybody that listened to that, I got another one of them on this new album. You gonna come out every day and try to connect those dots like that? Because again, it's shit everywhere on this internet. So I think again, the strategy and the structure is off. You know, I think we got to understand that the internet is a big place. You think the world is big, but even with that, you experience the internet different than you do when you go and travel places, because it's at your fingertips. It's so much information. At least when you go and travel Italy, you can focus on where you are and at least look and right, absorb and digest actually what you're going through. But on that internet, you're going everywhere. It's so much. They don't know what to choose. They don't know where to go. But the blackballing conversation needs to adjust, and people need to insert the fact that there's business in the discovery process of music. Let's talk about this. Shout out to Diddy, Revo, you know the vibes. Diddy had a conversation on the Breakfast Club where he spoke about the situation with Mase. Let's take a look at what he said. Diddy finally addressed some of the things Mase have been saying. Mase been out there speaking about Diddy owing him money and not giving him his rights and things like that, simultaneously while 504 is saying Mase has put him in a bad deal. So it's been a very complex, complicated situation. If this is the case where Mase owes Diddy money and he's been doing that, that's very disingenuous. And I think something must be up with Mase. Here's something I found interesting. As long as I've heard people talk about the Diddy and Mase thing, even me, and I feel like I peeped game a little good, but I didn't never mention the fact that he only did one album. That's a very important point. That is a very important point, right? Now, I think Mase's conversation is about masters. The way the business was ran in the 90s, and again, as the investor, you have to participate in some kind of way. And Mase is yet to put any contracts up for anyone to analyze in a real way. But even with me, if someone says, Loon, I want to go in business with you, FOGFO Media, and I say, yo, I need $2 million, that'll get us a building, that'll get this, that, and third, that'll set everything up, and we have an upside of $300 million in 4 years. The investor has to participate because he's bringing something. The CEO, the record exec, the label has to participate in some kind of way. And I think that it gets uncomfortable as the dynamics change. Right? So as you kind of are going down and I'm continuing to go up, because whatever I did with my money was different with what you did with your money. And I was doing business and you was doing bullshit. You understand me? So I kept elevating and you kept going down. And then you look up and it seemed unfair because you're looking on my plate. And you know what you're saying when you're looking on my plate? Oh, that's a low vibration plate right there. Now I make a hating ass nigga look at my plate and say that's a low vibration plate. It's a whole bunch of shit on my plate. We eating good over here, right? And so I see comments, I see media guys that don't like my shit and ain't reposting. And you know I don't have time to get into it with these guys because I got a lot of shit on my plate and I'm running my business. I ain't talent over here. I'm producer. I'm big boy on this side, so it's a different feeling. It's a different texture. And I know they want me to respond to the lack of energy that they give me because they know that if the whole game is fucking with this, how is the niggas ahead of me trying to duck and dodge it? And so I prayed for this. And while they say this is a low vibration plate, Loon eating too, we got a whole bunch of shit going on over there. I tell them it ain't low vibration if it's what I asked for. And I can't respond to niggas because I can't talk with my mouth full. I'm eating. I can't speak with my mouth full. It's disrespectful to how I was raised. I'm eating over here. I can't respond to that little shit they talking about. We getting money. I'm heading for that 500 on their ass. They think it's a joke. I'm telling you I'm headed for it. And so when you see me, understand I'm hustling. I ain't partying. I ain't joking. I'm putting game down and picking back ends up every single place I go. But it take a sophisticated nigga to order $3 million and call him out for something. So if Mase is doing that, that's a different kind of savage. That's a different level of being right there, home. So I ain't having that kind of nuts to order $3 million and tell him, nigga, you owe me something. It's a different kind of nigga. And so now we'll get into Kanye. This is kind of the start of Kanye attacking his own. Even though I can argue that with the White Lives Matter shirt, some people view that as an attack. Others view it as banter, tongue-in-cheek, attention-seeking. Either way, I think that it disrespects the responsibility of one of the greatest voices that hip-hop culture has elevated. Unfortunately for Kanye, his hunger to be accepted in some of these industries has caused him to mirror the same behavior of America and to build that on the backs of the people that he shares the same skin color with. And that's the only difference if we look at this and zoom out. Now, I would love to have a conversation with Kanye to kind of try to see what this is about. Again, I think he serves both sides of your opinions, right? On one side, you say, boy, he made a good point about that. And then on the other side, it's like, nah, that wasn't cool. Which one is the real yay? It's unfortunate that he's probably more witty than everyone that he speaks to. And even if that's not true, I think he's willing to go back and forth longer. So let's just say he bumps into Jay with some of those ideas. He has 1,500 different ways to explain them. And so when Jay pushes back on the first one, and then he morphs it into this other version of it, and Jay pushes back on that one. It's like at some point, some of these guys is like, you got it, brother. But then you ask yourself, what is it affecting? But we'll talk about that in a minute. Diddy spoke on Kanye and him wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt. For those of you unaware, Kanye was at a fashion show outside of the United States, and he showed up with Candace Owens, and I reached out to Candace Owens. I need to speak with her. This is prior to this. But he showed up with a White Lives Matter t-shirt, and of course, black people were disappointed. Let's listen to what Diddy said about that. The Diddy, because he's not somebody that's going to look at this stuff and was like, yo, man, this is what Kanye been doing. And so he came back out and said this.
So check this out, y'all. I am not about to be addressing every last thing that's going on in the world on the internet. But the thing I do have to address is this White Lives Matter t-shirt. I've always been there, and I will always support my brother Kanye as a free thinker. But the White Lives Matter t-shirt, I don't rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with it. And with the press and what fashion is doing, thinking it's a joke. But right now, all America has planned for us is poverty, incarceration, and death. So before I could get to any other lives matter, which all lives matter, you know what I'm saying? That Black Lives Matter, don't play with it. If you don't wear the shirt, don't buy the shirt, don't play with the shirt. It's not a joke.
I think this is more about him understanding the gravity of what Kanye did. Again, I know people downplay it and just say is, yo, this rappers do worse things. And I think there's a conversation to be had there, but it's a very intense, detailed, but yet specific conversation. And Kanye came out to try to explain what he meant. This is what he said.
Did you want it to express when you do the White Lives Matter t-shirts?
You know, at a certain point, it felt like I saw white people wearing shirts that said Black Lives Matter, like they were doing me such a favor by having a t-shirt that reminded me that my life mattered, like I didn't already know that. So I thought I'd return the favor and let white people know that, hey, your life matters too. It's sort of like when random people will see the documentary, and the documentary was, you know, the third chapter basically was saying, hey, we all love Kanye, but sometimes you got to turn the camera off on him. Meaning, like, don't listen to everything. Yes, we know he's a genius, but feel free to put him on. And so sometimes I'll see people at a fashion show, and they say, we saw this documentary, and they say, are you good? And I'll say, are you good? So it's like Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter.
And
it's just simple as that.
Why do you say Black Lives Matter is a scam?
Well, because it's proven.
So they asked him about White Lives Matter, and you see his answer. This is why it's so important to speak to people who's affected by these experiences. See, because they let him get that off. You know, I saw white people wearing a shirt that said Black Lives Matter as if I didn't already know, so I decided to return the favor. And here it is, some guy who's not cultured in any way, shape, form in regards to what we've been through, sitting there listening and in awe and starstruck by one of the biggest names in the world. But had he been sitting next to anyone who had any kind of information about the circumstances black people find themselves in, he would understand that this was less about a shirt and much more about the circumstances. This was on the heels of George Floyd being murdered by the hands of a police officer in broad day on camera, in which we was trying to stand up and revolt against police brutality, which was an extension of the unfair treatment of black people all across the board. So now we starting to get some steam in regards to understanding, wake up, they treating us a certain kind of way. We need to limit confusion. We need to limit confusion. We need to limit confusion. But you can't make me believe Kanye don't understand this, right? So this ain't about a shirt. It's came out that money has been stolen. That's a fact. So we put that to the side, BLM, the organization. But the chant, the understanding that the treatment of black people needs to be updated. We needed to adopt that from that culture movement that we had in place. And nobody understands that more. So what they did was that chant of Black Lives Matter, that aura, that confidence, that understanding around those words was less about the words and more about the vision. We needed vision. We need vision to get out of this. We've been blinded for so long, we need vision. So if anybody know anything about how it can start off as a chant, it'll be Kanye West. I heard him reference, "Come with me, Hail Mary," and how that's like a Negro spiritual. One thing about black people, as we trying to fight and figure our way through these circumstances, we try to communicate with each other. And oftentimes, there's a certain person or people that gives these soundtracks and give these chants for us to go from one position to the next. The transition phase. Believing in yourself phase. And that's why you would hear Kanye double back with the la, 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 wait till I. He understand more than anyone that chant and that vision calls for movement. And so as we're trying to build a movement, one of the most influential people seems to be getting his voice confused with his position. And I'm only speaking to the ones that know the difference, because this ain't as sophisticated as it seems. What Kanye is doing, and I'm not sure he realizing, is the same people that he took his time out to breathe life in, he's now suffocating them. You putting a pillow around the mouths of the people that believed and still believe in you. Because your behavior doesn't reflect on the behavior that they can exhibit. Number one, you have to ask yourself, as big as Kanye West is, and he can go sit on any platform, he needs to come here. But he can go sit on any platform in the world. He has a global reach. And it's complex, and whatever games and mind tricks and understanding he has in his brain, the man that may have came up with one of the most influential designs in fashion in the last decade or two. His ability to digest information and walk these thin lines and tight ropes, his ability to flirt with these ideas and recover. I think he's extending that grace to other people that they may not be equipped with. When millions of people digest your shit, any percentage of black boys misunderstanding what you're trying to do with that White Lives Matter t-shirt is too many. There's not enough attention they can give you to burn your building down. I would like to think you're creating chaos to try to get out of all of these deals and own your stuff. You want them to think you're crashing out. But the gravity attached to some of the things that's being done, I think can't nobody explain it in a way to him that he understands the gravity of it. And I can address people who say, yo, the culture provides different things. And a lot of things that the culture provides is way more detrimental than what Kanye is doing. I want to speak to that. I want to say you're correct about that. We're in the process of trying to understand our culture, right? While we're being monetized by people from outside of our culture. So that's a complex process, and certain people can't speak on it because they're not instrumental in even crafting anything that's involved in it. But Kanye was chosen. His voice is too loud to cause confusion. One of the reasons why the culture fell in love with Kanye is because he was so persistent and precise. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. His strategy was intact. He knew. It wasn't all of this jumping around that he's trying to do right now. It was a very clear thing. I conquer rap. I won't rap. I won't rap. I conquer rap. Then it was, I won't end on fashion. And now he's starting to juggle. Now everything's doing pretty good. And I'm not sure if that juggling of all of those high priority items has caused him some dark times. We can't argue that Kanye West doesn't have influence. And if you understand influence, you understand what influence is used for. And if you understand what influence is used for, then that means you understand programming. And if you understand programming and you got someone with a lot of influence doing something that's programming our youngsters in a way that may or may not be understood by them, then someone has to speak on it. Now, again, that argument is always going to come of what the rappers do. Set that to the side. We trusted Kanye and his vision from the beginning. I believe if your children is trusting a rapper that hasn't done what Kanye has done, I think they may be in a weird place. You may be not being able to have this conversation. And matter of fact, stop having the conversation, go help some of them kids you talking about. But people not only trust Kanye because his vision was intact and it worked. We're dealing with results when we're dealing with Kanye. So when he says something, it has a different level of gravity. The rapper that come out the hood that ain't did really nothing, he went platinum or something, sold a couple records, but there's a whole section of people that's not gonna tap into that and digest that. Now, the kids that'll do that, we need to have some roadblocks in place. That's our responsibility. But his position comes with a certain level of responsibility, and it extends itself to programming. Everything he do, kids want to do. What about the white people that he's reaching, that he's making believe that's better than his children? Did he think about that? Or does he not see his children as could be affected by what he's doing because he got too much money? But do you think about what if the shirt I put on now affect my little boy as he get older? Do we think about that? I'm going to protect him. What if God put you in a position where you can't protect him? Where you could have left the world in a place to protect him because I gave you that level of influence, but you rather left the world in confusion and hoping that they found the interview where you explained it in a different way that didn't get to reach. It didn't have the shock value as that motherfucking t-shirt. What if it affect your family? But I think a lot of times they don't see it that way. And that's why I speak about these things in the way I do. I know I'm leaving this world to my little kids. They got to develop in this world. They need instructions about something. Daddy, how I look at that? That's my favorite artist. I like all his clothes. How I'm supposed to look at him wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt? Right? I got to leave some instructions on that. I got to say, nah, that ain't it. Don't bite into that. Because whatever I explain to you, you won't understand, and his influence may outweigh my instructions. And that's why it's important what he's doing. It's poverty in our plans. It's poverty in black little boys' plans. We was born in these circumstances, forced in them. It's called a project for a reason, and so they put poverty in our plans, but guess what? We can put that peg down, pick up our potential. And so it's unfortunate. And I just hope at some point someone can speak to home in a way where he understands. Or we can have a conversation. He's welcome here whenever he has some time. We can sit down for however many hours he want to sit down for. He can design the set. We can sit down and have a conversation. Only thing is, I need a day in the set with nobody around. If he designs the set. And that's just to get my energy right. It's so important, the gravity of these conversations. I don't take them lightly, and I don't think it's a game. Following this, you got Boosie come out. You got a couple people starting to react to the White Lives Matter t-shirt, and they're disappointed in Ye. And so Boosie appeared on Drink Champ. Shout out Nori. And this is what he said.
And I feel it. And Kanye straight with me.
Right.
But he pissed me off this morning. You know what we done went through, bro. I don't want to get on here and, you know. But you know what we done went through and what we still going through to this day. You know. Fuck, everybody know people matter. But that lives matter. When we promoting that, what we done been through, let us get our glory, man. Don't be no fucking pigeon stool. From which our people done suffered. And still suffering to this day. Ain't nobody getting done like blacks getting done from 300-400 years to this day. And you a conglomerate. Don't put no fucking White Lives Matter on. Fuck wrong with you? Color, dye your face then.
And so after that, Kanye West came out and said this: don't speak on me, Lil Boosie, speak to me. Yeah, little nerd ass me. Come smack me or come shoot me. I'm the one that got bullied by the entire black celebrity community. Now I'm back to shoot the school up. Now, when you hear Kanye West say something like that, you know exactly where that comes from. After that, Meek Mill came out and responded and is like, yo, we knew you hated street, man. You just kind of street, you know, when you want to, kind of to benefit you. And he said, Justin LeBoy, don't invite me to none of them parties with dude. you know, and he spoke about him not posting Vori's album. Vori got a dope album after all the work Vori done for him, and he said that Kanye made sure to say Jack Harlow was hot instead of ESTG. And again, this is something with street guys. And I heard akademiks speak about it, like saying Kanye don't care nothing about street dudes. He hard on street dudes and don't nobody care about street dudes. Again, this attack on street dudes or how people are trying to box street people out, I think it's unfortunate. But if you remember, Kanye West did the same thing to the backpackers. This is what I'm saying is interesting, man. That's why somebody got to have a conversation with Kanye that can really figure these things out, because there's a couple questions, dog. Because even with the backpack thing, he was like, yo, I ain't really with that backpack shit. I wore that shit just because I needed somewhere to land at. And it worked. Man, I don't with them like that. I'm from Southside Chicago, right? So he flipped over there then all the backpackers like, damn, we rolled with that dude 8 years. But boy, that nigga designed some hell of a shit, and his ideas is super dope. So people are still riding, but he don't understand the damage that he doing to himself. Picture some of the moves he didn't make. Had he didn't make them, where would he be? Even though he's still super at the top of the game, but where would he be had he not made some of these kind of moves? But here's what I didn't like. Telling somebody like Lil Boosie, who was on trial for death row and all this kind of shit, come shoot me, come smack me. See, now he's sounding like Cameron West. See, you sound like Karen West when you do that. It's like the little boys when we outside, we done came in front of the little boy house. We all the same age, and I'm going in his pockets, taking his money. His daddy look out and wonder, what's going on out there? And instead of all that time he had to stand up for himself, he wait till his daddy get in the door and, now keep going through my pockets. He's screaming, now keep going through my pockets. Keep doing what you was just doing. Keep hitting me. Now keep hitting me. He one of them, man. What is that about? Come shoot me. Come smack me. What are you doing? Like, I stay running into them kind of people, man. They be trying to use me against me. You know what I'm saying? Might be at a restaurant. Hey, man, I bring something back. Hey, yo, I asked for extra cheese on these fries. Go ahead and do something illegal to me. Go ahead and shoot me. Yo, can you just put some more cheese on the fry? Ain't nobody with all that. But that's how they try to, because they know I'm trying to present you to the people looking a certain way. And I ain't really like that, because if it's about us, dog, what side? Like, that's what I'm saying. You confusing your people. Even the high level thinkers, it's still like, yo, what he doing, though? What is all that? Like, what is all that, though? I ain't going to stop what I'm doing. I don't give a f what he doing. But I'm saying, what is all that, though? And you talking to a high-level problem solver. Where we come from, they come shoot me, come kill me. That's insurance. That's like police shit. So Boosie responded with this.
Don't speak on me, Lil Boosie. Speak on me. Speak to me. Yeah, little nerd-ass me. Come smack me or come shoot me. I'm the one that got bullied by the entire black celebrity community. Now I'm back to shoot the up. Oh, he crazy. Oh, yeah, he crazy. Yeah, he acting like a white boy. He acting like a white boy. He crazy. Yeah, he ain't safe. He ain't safe around nobody. Yeah, that nigga. He acting like a crazy white boy. He
total feature skin today when we look at it. White boy. Man, he don't like that.
Man, this man that lost his top. He done lost his top. I gotta tell Dirt. I was like, Dirt, I don't know what the he talking about. This that lost his top. He don't get out. He got the real thing of Get Out. This is the real movie of Get Out.
Still gotta ask yourself, why one of our more powerful guys doing that? Like, if the money gonna make you do that, do all that, a lot of people ain't gonna want the money. You know what I'm saying? They like, nah, I don't want to get that far up. Like, seem like, bro, he hella creative, but it seemed like he going through it, though. It seemed like too much going on. You know what I mean? He just flashing out. And then everybody around you, you pay them, so you paying for their opinion. If they know that their job is in jeopardy, if they disagree with you and take a hard stance against you, And then oftentimes when you in those tornadoes, you keep yourself away from people that's in power. You try to take all of that energy out of them before they get next to you. And I think that's part of the change clothes thing, if that's true. They say Kanye will make you get out there and change clothes. Like, you got to have this on to come in here. And see, the thing I find interesting, and this is what I'm saying, I think it's a power struggle, is that he'll have everybody put black on and then come in white. Or, you know what I'm saying, do the opposite or something like that. And it's just like, it's some weird power struggle going on where he's trying to reassure himself that he's on top of a mountain that is shared by many people. The mountain is too big to take claim over the whole mountain. And we must understand that. That's why when he gets to that level that he's on now, he's still trying to play one-on-one basketball. He playing against families. This is family money. When we can pay you $1 billion, $2 billion, now you dealing with families. This money here long. This money go 2-3 generations down the road. This ain't new money. Kanye is new money. Jay is new money. Diddy is new money. LeBron is new money. We all new money. But when you start to, give me $2 billion for this deal, that's a family. And he had his family with hip hop. He got his family with hip hop. He can easily put a board together. Him, Jay, Diddy, Loon, QC. You know what I'm saying? You know, James from Rap Snacks, just all kind of people, and put that board together and put it in a situation where it's they family against this family, the first family. Yeah, this the first family of hip hop is put together that went and got this together. Now we going up against Adidas, not going up against, but in partnership with, and we strong as a motherfucker. So if they play wrong, we can say no to the deal and put it together ourselves. But there's a family of individuals when you get to that level, bro. And he is alienating himself from his family. I think in a weird way, he thinks that all those people are out there because his music is good. And because his shoes is the best shoes in the world. And although he has some of the dopest designs and some of the best music we've ever heard, a lot of them people look at Ye like family. A lot of these black folk look at us like family, bro. You one of them. You disowning your family. You confusing the family. We would have went against Adidas with you. We would have put some money together and got with you with Gap. Thug was calling from out of jail to give you land and try to make sure we this your family. You stepping on us for what? To take over Fashion Week? That's like my old lady, if I got a girlfriend and we go out and she's showing out, and I'm like, I pay the bill, I take care of you, and you get in front of these folks and you trying to show out? You trying to throw your weight around because you know I'm locked in with you and we done built a life together and got children and we married. So now you take that advantage you got on my circumstance and use it against me in public because you know damn near it's hard to leave you. I done trusted you with everything. I put you at the top of the mountain. You disregard that when you get ready and you call it love. You call it leadership. Confusing your family. And see, Puff can get in any area Kanye in. See, some of these little rap dudes you call out, they'll get your tour bus shot at, or some of them dudes shot at if they want to. They ain't gonna do that. They got a lot of respect for Ye. But Diddy can get in any room you in. We can go security for security. I'm dead pissed off. Just start knocking folks out when we get up here and y'all clear a path. I'm trying to get up better Kanye. I hate it got to go like this, but somebody got to give him a little bit of straightening. If Diddy was to approach Kanye somewhere, he'll start talking loud and saying like that. Diddy walk up on him, hey man, shoot me then, smack me. Go on, do what you gonna do. I know you got your goons with you. I know you got that fit, dog. Yeah, nah, Kanye do that right there. In that school zone, Kanye go in that bag, I think. Because I don't think he really want no problems. I just think he want to do what he want to do without no consequence. And my opinion on doing what you want to do, a lot of times that lead to problems. Therefore, you got to deal with some consequences. You know what I'm saying? It's like that thing, you fuck around and find out. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's happening. Nigga fuck it around, he gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I spoke to you guys about a breakup that happened at Full Sin Podcast. It's a podcast that operates in kind of the same spaces like Logan Paul and some of those kind of podcasts like Flagrant and things like that. It's probably one of the bigger ones in that space. It's had people like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and I spoke about how they released a guy named Bob. Bob then came to try to do his own podcast, and he found himself competing with numbers that he had previously. And a lot of times when you're in a building stage, it's very, very important to identify that, right? You cannot take my numbers and compare them to his numbers right now. Look at my product. Look at my quality. I'm fucking over him. I just ain't checked all the boxes yet, but I got 3 or 4 of them on him from behind him. Without the resources, without the reach. It's important to identify that. But Bob podcast was doing okay, right? But certain episodes with our culture, you know, was instantly 50K, 100K, 80K, 30K, right? It instantly got him some numbers when he spoke to people on our side, and he's reached out to people. He seems like one of those guys well connected. But I pointed out that he had to come to us to build that podcast in the same way they did when Dirk went over there, when the Baby went over there, when Tory went over there, when at the height of his thing, Antonio Brown went over there. All of these things happened, and he was in a situation to kind of try to build that core audience and let them know that he's back. He has a following, and he's someone in the game. For people who don't know, Full Sin, Dana White has something to do with that, as well as a couple of other people behind the scenes, and they have a product that they have for sale, which I think is one of the best business decisions that they've made to run alongside their podcast. But they kicked him off, and then all hell breaks loose. Bob then goes to social media and speaks on what happened with the Milk Boys and him leaving Full Sin, and says that he's owed money. Let's take a look.
You know, I've been nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been nervous because I got a big audience, good people that fuck with me. But at the same time, Full Sin has a big audience that fucks with them. You know, I was like, I don't want to go at them, whatever. But you know what? At the end of the day, I was fucked. I was told one thing and I didn't get it. And I was fucking lied to. And you know what also was, is not only that, on top of things that weren't in contracts or whatever, I was still fucked. I was still fucked where we had a deal with certain things that money was supposed to come in, and guess what? It didn't. And I had to bring it up and say, hey, where's this? Oh, there's 55,000 missing. Where the fuck is this? 60,000. Oh, Bob, sorry, my bad. Here we are. We got that. I was our apology. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all fucked me. Y'all fucked me. So here is the deal. Pay me the rest of my fucking money that is owed. And at the end of the day, guess what? You can still keep your promise that I own 30% of the show long term. You can still keep that promise, but that promise is out the window. I'm not afraid of any repercussions. You guys fucked me. And you know what? You guys can run around with your little fucking John Shahidi, Kyle, Sammy, whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a fuck. I was one of the good guys that fucking poured my blood, sweat, and tears into that show and fucking built something up and got my fucking throat slit. Got my throat slit by a bunch of ass clown motherfuckers that I introduced my world to, and they took advantage of, and they sucked the fucking life out of it. So at the end of the day, I'll say this. Give me my fucking money and go about your way. And that's it. And I am so motherfucking disappointed. And I'll call out Kyle. I am so disappointed because I think it was the higher-ups. I think it was the Shahidis that made you go and be who you are right now. Because that's not who I met when I fucking met you. That's not who I fucking met. You fucked me. You know you fucked me. And that's that. So at least make it right. And no more skimming. Had to say it, buddy. I'm not afraid of shit anymore. I don't give a f***. I'm already where I'm at. Peace.
This podcast space is very, very, very complex and complicated. What's happening is a lot of people are not happy with a split ad revenue kind of deal. And if you don't have ownership, that's what you're doing. And if you're not investing, you don't get ownership. It's just like a circle of things happening in this business where people are afraid to invest but want to participate. And then if you participate, you should have invested. So it's a stalemate right there. Now, here's the person named Kyle who is kind of the forefront of Full Send Podcast responding to Bob's allegations.
I don't do the back and forth shit on Instagram. I don't do the social media drama shit. That's seriously not my thing. But with all the shit that Bob has been lying about on social media, he's pretty much backed me into a corner now and attacking something that I've built for 10 fucking years, poured my blood, sweat, and tears into. So there's no choice. I gotta clear some shit up. So first things first, Bob is saying on social media that we owe him money. That is a complete lie. We don't owe Bob Menery a cent. He's also saying that he had the worst deal, a terrible deal for the podcast. But guys, in the 10 months that he was on the show, he made $1.2 million. $1.2 million in 10 months. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what his deal was. So this is Bob's deal. I typed it out on screen on Instagram here too. Also, he had not one, but 2 different lawyers look over this deal. And it is extremely generous if you guys do not understand. I'm gonna pull it up here. So he got 30% of the ad revenue of the show. He never owned it. He always says he owns it. He never had ownership of the show. On top of that, he had 7.5K an episode, usually around 30K a month if that's 4 episodes. 50% of the podcast merch, which is insane. First class flights, hotels, transportation, all covered by us. The production, the staff, and the equipment, all covered by us. So Bob had no expenses. Everything production-wise was covered by Nelk. All Bob had to do was show up. Say too, I personally have taken 0% of any of the podcast earnings. Anything that I've technically made has gone right back into the show, paying for the staff, paying for the production, paying for the travel. But Bob's 1.2 million. On top of that, the opportunity to join the Full Send team and to get exposure, obviously from you guys, from the craziest fucking fan base on the internet, that's priceless. Like, so many doors were opened up for him, and the amount of huge brand deals that he got and did on his Instagram because of this, like, it's insane. The thing I want to talk about is Bob saying that he built the show, he got all the guests. I will give credit to Bob. He got some fire-ass guests, but the vast majority of guests were gotten by Team Full Send. And he also took credit from Dana White for getting Donald Trump. All right, so I'm going to make a next slide. I'm going to put who got which guests. Too lazy to say it out loud. Seriously, like, I considered Bob one of my best friends. So I still have enough respect for him where I'm not going to be pouring out personal details on social media. But you guys see how he is on social media. And behind the scenes, his behavior became like completely uncontrollable. And, you know, like, I'm all about the work hard, play hard shit. No one is more than me. But my thing is when it affects the team and the staff and the operation and just Full Send as a whole, that's when I personally got to draw the line and like make a tough decision. So for months and months and months, I'm trying to figure this out. How can I make this guy happy? I'm working with him one-on-one. I'm working with his manager. His manager's trying to work with him. Nothing's working. And eventually he came to me with a brand new deal. And it was the day before the game episode. And he said, Kyle, you have 24 hours to sign this brand new deal or I'm not showing up to the game tomorrow. And I said, what the fuck, Bob? That's not realistic. You coming to me with a new deal and expecting me to sign it in 24 hours? That's not enough time. I said, come to the game episode tomorrow. Let's crush the episode. And you have my word. Me and you, one-on-one, we'll sit down. We'll figure it out. We will come to some sort of solution. Like, you're my boy, Bob. Like, we can figure this out. And I begged with him and I pleaded with him. And he didn't show up. He missed the game episode. And instead of showing up, he just took to social media so quick and just started posting shit about me, just blasting me, posting lies. And to me right there, like, that was the final straw. Like, I felt so taken advantage of and disrespected for someone that was supposed to be my friend. Like, a friend doesn't go to social media, no matter what, to blast you like that. That's something that a friend doesn't do. And I'll be honest, that actually really hurt me, that Bob did that to me. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. After that, I was like, you know what? It's time to part ways. And this is going to be the last time I talk about this, by the way. You're going to see Bob talk about this for months and months and months and months. So enjoy that. I'm getting back to work. I got shit to do. I got videos to film. And that's it. Thank you guys. Love you.
As you see there, man, it's just extremely hard to keep these podcasts together. It seems like if it gets over 2 people, a problem arrives. It's almost like no matter what happens, if more than 2 people are on the podcast, when it starts to make money, somebody is unhappy with their cut, and you can't really identify who's pulling what unless it's just painfully obvious. And even then, it gets blurry sitting in that seat, because in that seat, even though it's painfully obvious from the outside, from the inside, you still are part of that process. So you gain a certain level of confidence, and that may lend itself to misunderstanding your true value, because standing next to people feels totally different than standing by yourself. It's a different feeling. Like, as much as I talk about how easy this podcast thing is, like, you can draw a blank in this space, and that's with people around. So picture by yourself, right? So again, this is a complex position to be in. They were making a lot of money, but again, this is an ad split kind of deal. And this is the deals that's given out in this industry right now, are these kind of ad split deals. But here's the catch. And the people who really believe in you, they give you an ad split deal and a per episode fee to help creatively develop the show. If they just trying to give you an ad split deal, I don't know really what that means. But the per show episode and the upfront investment will show you like, yo, we're your partners. We're going to make sure this show makes money. We're invested. And sometimes that's a hard line to draw, you know, but in business, sometimes you have to draw those unfortunate lines. But just look at how many podcasts done broke up. And look at what they're breaking up for. It's always about money. Something happened with the money. We ain't like how the money was given up. We ain't respect what he was doing with the money, the payment, the accounting, this, that, and the third. It's like it's extremely hard. My business model hopefully works in this space, but I have to trust it and try to evolve it, you know, kind of plant a flag with people to move around, you know, kind of understanding, all right, that's how he did it. I'm going to do it like this, you know. But it says a lot as well. It speaks to how much money that they're making on the pod via merch and those other things. He made $1.2 million in 10 months. That speaks to the power of that show with his 30% or whatever it might have been. He made almost 1.5. But again, he was under the impression, and I don't know what to believe, because if he's getting those kind of guests and working as hard as he was working, that's what I mean, creatively supporting the project. It's like he was on set, he was there, he was investing, he paid Antonio Brown, he was the grease ball knocking on doors, making phone calls, trying to make it happen. So me, myself, I saw him help build that when they got to that spot right there. When they did that Antonio Brown and they had a couple of our people over there back to back, and I was like, oh, they're cooking over there. And he was behind some of that. And that's sweat equity. Not only about that payment is one thing, but Antonio Brown had just ran off the field from Tampa Bay at that time. Tory Lanez was in that Megan Thee Stallion situation at that time, right? It was very, very important to have them on camera. Everybody want to participate when you're making millions, bro. It's easy to get somebody to participate. I keep telling people, you got to catch a dude at the post office. You got to be a part of what I'm putting in the envelope. You can't wait till it's delivered, that you're going to receive an invoice. Feel what I'm saying? And investing is important, but knowing what to invest in is even more important. You know, I think in this space, man, if you got somebody that understands it in a certain way, I don't know what people are not understanding. There ain't nobody that can speak about the space like that. Right? Ain't nobody put that much into it. So I put a lot into it, and that's why mine is working the way it's working, you know, and that's respectfully and love to the game, love to the universe, love to the creator God and all things working in my favor. But to see this happen with Full Sin, to see it happen with Joe Budden, to see it happen with I Am Athlete, to see it happen with All the Smoke, to see it happen with more and more podcasts, right? It's just, it starts to let you know this is how you know the business isn't intact. It's a new industry. So you see a lot of people, man, I thought it was this. And that's why you got to make sure people are clear on what you're saying. It's like, yo, you going to make some money with me, but right when it blow up, you getting out the car. And then you going to feel away, nigga run off and get 500 million or something. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to invest in something, it's different than giving somebody an ad deal. But investing in it, people want equity. How much equity is now the conversation? What do you got? How much are they involved? How much money is coming with it? What does that money allow you to build out? You understand? And these things are what I feel as though is the right thing to talk about. But Full Send is in an unfortunate situation, man. I wanted to give y'all a long part because I've been giving y'all short ones. We got the Lil Baby interview out right now. I need everybody to go see that. Y'all let me know, man. Share that. Share It's Up There podcast for all my new listeners. This is the vibration over here, right? This is what we do. We give game out. We having the biggest conversations in the world. You dealing with the best podcaster in the space. I say thank you for your attendance. I say thank you for your participation. And I say salute to the Pateron members. It's Up There podcast, the biggest shit in history. Go.